This past weekend was Easter weekend. It was a really different one for us. I was encouraged though by the conversations I had with a number of you about the really creative ways that you've found to connect with one another and to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. The other thing that happened this weekend is that we finished our 16-month walk through the Bible. So every Sunday for the past 16 months, we have been listening to a sermon on a different book of the Bible. A number of us have been trying to read through parts of the Bible, highlights of the Bible, or even the whole Bible. This is something that is really worth pausing to reflect on and celebrate. And so Andrew is going to be hosting a couple of drop-in virtual sessions this week on Thursday afternoon and Friday evening. For those of you who would like to share about the experience that you've had working your way through the Bible, either through the sermons or through reading, to share any highlights and to ask any unanswered questions. Details about times and how to register will be attached to this video. The other thing that happened for us this week is that we heard our provincial and federal leaders give us the warning that we're probably going to be in this season of social distancing a little bit longer than any of us would like. And it reminded us a little bit about how the exiles seemed to feel when they were in exile and really putting their lives on hold. They wanted it all to be over very quickly. And God sent a message to them. In Jeremiah 29, he sent a message through Jeremiah saying, listen, settle in, build houses, live in them, plant gardens, and eat from them. And I think that maybe it's time for us to hear this message as well, that rather than just trying to survive our way through these next weeks or months of social distancing and have it all go away as quickly as possible, that we find ways to be the people of God together, fully alive in Jesus. So we're going to be starting a new sermon series where we're going to be focusing on how to pray. What does it mean to pray, and how can we learn to pray? A number of you are gathering in your small groups to meet and discuss the sermon, and I hope that still continues. For those of you who don't have a small group that you're a part of and you're not connecting regularly around that, Andrew is going to be hosting some drop-in sermon discussion sessions once a week. And so details about that will be available later this week. The other thing that we're starting in this time is to read through the book of Acts together, and to read it with a view of trying to understand, how did the early church use or live out prayer? What did prayer look like for them? And how did God work through the really difficult situations that they were in to bring about good and to build his church? We're reading about a chapter a day for 6 weeks, so you can join on. There's a reading plan available. And for those of you who would like to discuss this, Andrew's going to be hosting another drop-in session about once a week for that. And so details for that will be available on Friday of this week. I also just wanted to pause and thank you all for the incredible outpouring of generosity that you have shown in caring for the community around us and caring for one another. I have loved hearing the stories of how through the Care Network you're checking in on one another, you're praying with one another, building some new friendships, and providing for each other's practical needs. So thank you for that. The other thing that has been so encouraging is seeing how you have been stepping into our community's response to COVID. And in particular, one part of this in particular is worth talking about right now. There's been a mask making campaign, and Julia Bendel has been leading this. And yesterday she texted me that 790 masks have been distributed to seniors and other vulnerable people so that they can have extra protection in this time. I know that a lot of you have been a part of this campaign. Some have been sewing, some have been driving supplies around, picking up things, so thank you so much. It reminds me a little bit about later in that passage in Jeremiah 29, where God told the people who were in exile, listen, seek the welfare of the city where I have put you and pray on its behalf. Pray to the Lord on its behalf. And I think that this is what you are doing. You're seeking the welfare of the community around us and continuing to pray to the Lord on its behalf. So let's continue to do this, St. Paul's. Continue to be the people of God, even in this time where we would prefer not to be in, and to look to him to show us how he would have us be in this time. Thank you.